Here we go.
So, what is it you guys do? Are you ufologists or are you investigators in the ghosts and things?
Good question. Good question. Do you want to go first, Ash?
Yeah, so I'm more ufology. I run one of the biggest UFO organisations in the UK.
Wow.
We do a lot of work. We're always in the media. We work with a lot of people and a lot of other companies and stuff. So mainly UFO, but also paranormal as well with the podcast that we do together. And we go
Mhm.
out investigations and do TikToks and stuff, doing investigations together.
What's the name of your UFO podcast?
Well, the podcast is Pursuit of the Paranormal.
Pursuit of the
The
Paranormal.
UFO group is UFO identified .co.uk.
I think I've mentioned to Greg before we was doing sky watches and things down the East Coast. Get all the
That,
Ash
equipment.
does. Ash does a lot of those. Yeah.
they're incredibly popular, aren't they? If you want to get people together, meet us at so and so, and it's yeah, I love them. Absolutely
Yeah,
love.
yeah,
We always set the little cooker as well, so we can have bacon sarnies, which is
yeah. We do
one of
hot dogs mostly, hot dogs and
oh
hot
yeah,
drinks.
good. Nice to see you like-minded.
What
Yeah.
what what are you guys talking about at Parachat UK then? I can't remember what you said.
So we're going to talk about poltergeists and the connection between poltergeists and UFOs, essentially. Um,
Oh, interesting.
because the more we speak to people, so when we started years ago, so we've been doing this about 4.5 years. That I was the paranormal, Ash was the UAP or UFO at the time, I think it was back then. And then as we've spoken to people over the years, there's this blurry line where people who have had UAP experiences have also had poltergeist experiences and paranormal experiences from a young age. So there's a history of like the umbrella term paranormal.
Hmm.
Um, so there is a connection between sort of poltergeist activity, paranormal, and UAP.
Wow.
That the experiencers have a blend of all of it.
Wow. It'd be quite interesting to see like a Venn diagram of that with stories of people who and what percentage fill that part where it meets in the middle, that Vesica Pisces. See
Mhm.
what percentage that is filled with people who who have these experiences, who have the poltergeist experiences and have the UFO experiences. And yeah, it does seem that whatever energy people are open to, it's just energy, isn't it? You know?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How interesting. Do you know, I've never ever thought of that. Never ever
Because
thought of that.
when we first started the podcast, it was like we were very much like UFOs are UFO, ghosts are ghosts, Bigfoot's a Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, but the more we spoke to people, the more sort of research we've done, the more work we've done over the past 4.5 years. It's just that, like Greg said, the lines just blur so much,
Hmm.
and it's where we now think, oh, now believe, I guess, is that it's all one big sort of like say umbrella, and you are connected in ways that you wouldn't even think.
Mhm.
About one example of this that's really kind of hit it home to me was one aspect of ufology is the CE5 kind of movement, which is
Yes.
the human initiated contact where
Is that
you
the
kind
Stephen
of
Greer
yeah,
thing?
he's one of the sort of components of it where it's kind of you're speaking out to the wherever, sort of saying, "We're here. This is our location. Show yourselves to us. Let us know that you're here." That's kind of like sort of the basis around the CE5 kind of stuff. And then we're doing an investigation in Delamere Forest, and when you do ghost investigations, the paranormal investigations, you're calling out like to the ghosts or to the spirits or to whoever, let us know that you're there, show yourselves. We just want to like communicate with you. It's kind of you're doing the same thing, but one's
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
what you'd call UFOs, one's what's what you'd call like spirits or ghosts. But why they could not be the same thing, just showing themselves in a different way, just how you're kind of perceiving it. So what kind of hit that home to me was we're saying the same thing, we're doing the same thing, but we're just calling them different things. But in
Mhm.
effect, why they could not be the same actual, wherever they are, they're just the same thing, just presenting themselves differently.
You know
It's interesting.
that is such an interesting perspective.
Mhm.
It is a real. There seems to be a massive correlation to people who actually get together in these groups and call out and show yourselves, come to us, to lights appearing in the bloody sky. And I think it was, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it used to be something like the Mojave Indians who used to think that they were the ancestors and they used to call out, show yourselves. And they used to see things in the sky as well. It's just, yeah. I've never ever thought of the two being connected in that way. But yeah, you're right. You're just calling out to be seen, and it's.
Did you get any evidence then? Have you filmed it?
So we for this Delamere Forest one, we actually done an episode of Paranormal Investigation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we've interviewed loads of times, and he was like, "Do you want to come to Delamere and we'll do like a C5 thing?" And we did. We went up there and recorded it. It's on YouTube. You can watch it, where you can see the whole C5 thing that we do, and all the weird experiences we had that night around C5 and just calling out to anything really.
Wow.
What is your kind of favorite section of the paranormal? I know obviously you've both got Greg's kind of. Are you more into the spirits and ghosts, and your Ash is more into the UFOs? Is that what you're saying?
So I love poltergeist. I love the whole Enfield poltergeist. For me, is just it's
Yeah.
the thing that got me into the paranormal really. So it's that enduring mystery of what is this thing in these people's house that affected the family. Um, it's just fascinating. It's fascinating. And we actually spoke to a demonologist, and he was saying that fallen angels are actually grey aliens, so the greys. So
Right.
that was quite an interesting take on the fact that these demons are actually an alien race, potentially. But everything's open to interpretation. Everybody's got an opinion of what they think things are, and I think that's what keeps it all healthy. Is that yeah, it's super weird, and that's what keeps me coming back.
How long are you guys been investigating for?
I don't know. I've been investigating probably for about 10 or 15 years in total, like way back before we even thought about the podcast and such like. So I've been into it since I was about 10 anyway, and I'm now slightly older. So you could say I've been into the paranormal for 38 years, and
Yeah.
UFOs. It's funny because I've not long moved house. Part of moving is I've got a briefcase of stuff, of paperwork and from when I was growing up, and there's actually an email that I printed off from like 22 years ago, where I'm contacting the Hull UFO Society about going up and doing a skywatch
Right. Yeah.
randomly. I've still
Yeah.
got the email, and it's mad to see it because I'm like, I don't even know if that person's even around anymore. Are they doing it? I don't know.
Did you ever get a reply?
Yeah. I was going backwards and forwards with this guy.
Oh,
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I literally got the paperwork just in my briefcase. But yeah, just never, because it's random because I'm right down in Oxfordshire. So I don't know why. I think why I picked Hull, but it's probably as far away as I could get. But I remember reading UFO magazine and stuff like that, and I think there was somebody in that it all went through. So yeah, so I've had an interest for a very long time, and I know Ash has as well.
yeah, brilliant. Ash, tell us a bit about what got you into the paranormal.
So mine, similar to Greg, I was 10 years old and I had a UFO sighting over near Manchester, where I live. And that was a classic. It was 1997. It was just a classic black triangle, light in each corner, just
Right.
clear as day, just moved across the sky. Because it wasn't three different lights, it was clearly one craft with the three lights on. We all saw it, group of kids, group of adults. We were out because I know it's 1997 because it's when the Hale-Bopp comet was visible. Because we were out in the street looking at the comet when all of a sudden this craft appeared. We all saw it, and then I was just like, "What was that?" And then I spent my whole teens interested, trying to rent videos out from the video shop and library to watch documentaries on UFOs and getting the X Factor magazine back then. That was all about paranormal and stuff.
Okay.
So it's kind of been 20 odd years of interest. And then more seriously, probably the past 8 or 9 years, I just got into the UFO stuff a bit more. And then 5 years ago, during COVID, I was on furlough. I had a lot more free time trying to set up my organisation, start a podcast, and we've just grown from there to being one of the biggest groups in the UK. So it has been like a lifetime interest, really, going
Wow.
back 28 years now, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I know we have these conversations as well. It makes you feel really old, doesn't it? Talking about how long you've been into the paranormal and investigating and this, that, and the other. But just one more question for you, Ash. Because I mean, Mark's going to think, oh God, Tony, stop talking, because Mark always says I can talk the land legs. Okay, I don't know where he gets that idea from. I'm seeing my lawyer in the morning. Um, based on your research, Ash, because this is something I've wondered myself, and it's just great to hear other opinions. What's your idea, or what do you think these black triangles are? A, where are they from? And B, where do they go? Because there's talk about them going in the blink of an eye and just disappearing.
Yeah, it's a mad one because it's kind of always been an interest. Because my own sighting with the triangle, it's kind of always kind of look a bit more interest in those type of sightings, especially in the 90s. There was a lot of sort of black triangle sightings across Europe and across the UK. I think a lot of them probably were ours. Like the stealth fighter and stuff was kind of being developed and released in the late 90s.
Yeah.
So that probably explains a lot of them, to be honest. Like that could explain mine, and we'll never know if it was or not, but it could have been. But like I say, some of the more out there ones, like ones with like the beam of lights coming out of them, and like you say, ones that just perform like no airplane can perform and disappear, stuff like that. I mean, I changed my mind so many times on like kind of the hypothesis of what they are and where they come from. Are they just literally coming from a different planet, or are they different between different times or different dimensions? It's really hard to obviously kind of pinpoint things. And my opinion changes that often. Like I say, literally, you can ask me in a week, I'll have a different answer. It's just
Yeah.
mad, and that's what keeps the whole subject. Like, even though it's like I say, my sighting from 30 years ago nearly, it's still sort of not fresh, but still don't know. So there's always going to be fresh ideas around what it could be.
Yeah.
It's kind of always going to be that mystery, even though it's such an old sighting. Then when I get new cases coming in, because we receive reports to us like hundreds every year, and we have the biggest database in the UK of
Really?
UFO reports from
Wow.
2020 onwards. And each year we do all the analysis and we do a report of all the data, stats, where they're being seen, what's being seen, sort of hotspot areas, what's sort of popular this year, what time of day, all these stats that we do each year. And triangles are always in the top like 4 or 5 like categories of shapes that are being seen. So they are still being seen across the UK, and it's keeps it exciting, I guess, that we still don't know what these are, and that mystery is still, and that's what the fun of it is trying to sort of dig into it, and we never seem to get any closer to the answer.
No, no, no.
Uh,
I mean, if we can't pinpoint what a ghost is, good luck with your stuff. Have you ever thought about making one of those charts up? Do you know in World War II they used to have like the silhouettes of the aeroplanes, to learn what the shape of the plane was? Have you ever thought about doing one of those for UAPs and UFOs, like tic tacs and triangles?
yeah, never, yeah, could do.
Have you found out then, obviously through your research, that a lot of it can be down to, like I think you said, what was popular, like what's on TV and across social media at the time? Then you seem to get more of those sightings or more reports of those sightings.
Yeah, so like the last few years, there's definitely been an increase in like cylinder sightings, like what you call tic tacs, and it's obviously that sort of came sort of into the mainstream. There's an increase in that description being reported.
Yeah,
Whereas in the past they'd called it a cigar shape or cylinder shape. They're now calling them tic tac shape. Also, I mean that's probably going back a couple more years, but more recently, probably the past 12 months, like spheres are very popular at the minute. These spheres being seen, and again, that's what's come out of America, where these leaked pictures and reports out of the hearings of these spheres being seen by military pilots and stuff, and we do see an echo even in the UK of what's happening in America. Echoes over here, what's being reported, which is interesting. It's like, is it just them types of crafts are being seen, or is it just because we're more aware of it? And we've got to take that into kind of consideration as well when we look at the data, I guess.
I found it interesting that you compile this data and you actually do something with it, and that is really good to hear that someone that's actually is actually bothered that much to correlate data and actually do something with it. I tell you, hats off to you. Yeah, brilliant.
Cheers. It's hard work. It's a lot of work, but it's good. It's
We over the years we've noticed one thing. When people have reported things in the house, when we've done, because we don't just go to a haunted location. People contact us and ask for help. Whatever that means, we do is depending on what's happening. A lot of them have said, obviously things are happening in the house and that, and they all had one thing in common. They all argued. They create this energy. And is this a theory for you as well, that could be a possibility for poltergeist activity, like energy being manifested from the human brain as such?
Yeah, so part of the poltergeist activity that I look into and my theories behind it is based around the manifestation of an adolescent, basically turmoil in the family, turmoil internally. That if you look at a lot of the sort of the more popular cases, Enfield, Battersea, those kind of cases, typically they all stem from an adolescent girl, go around puberty age. You got Janet from the Enfield haunting. In particular, it focused around her, and the internal struggles that these kids have. They're obviously going for a lot of body changes, a lot of social change because you're hitting secondary school and you're trying to find your place as a person. You're developing your own persona, and there's a lot of anguish, I think, inside people, and it essentially manifests this energy out, and it comes out in the form of an entity. There's stories of we actually done a small video on it recently about manifesting a ghost, and this group of people, I can't remember the ghost's name now, but
Philip experiment.
And that's it. And the group of people sort of invented this backstory and everything like that, and all of a sudden this weird stuff started happening, and this entity came into fruition. Now, and I don't even know if I've spoken to you about this, Ash, but when before the podcast, I used to be part of a group in Oxfordshire, in the Windrush Valley in Witney, and we went to a particular house, and the spirit was actually, or the entity, or whatever it was in the house, was actually causing friction every time the gentleman of the house came home. When they were separated, the wife and husband, everybody was cool. He was in the house on his own, or she was, all was cool. When they're both in the house together, they started to argue. And once they got split up out of the house to go to work or whatever, everything was fine. But there was this energy in there. And we went in, didn't find anything really conclusive from our side. But we were only there for one night. But the daughter actually took a photograph. They wouldn't let us have the photograph, but they showed it to us when we first met them, of a dark figure in the background in the daughter's bedroom. Strangest picture I've ever seen. They wouldn't allow us to even take a photograph of the photograph. It was just like, we don't want anything to do. Like we're interested in finding out what's happening, but we're not interested in anything else. So
Frustrating.
we don't want the names mentioned, anything like that. It was just like, that's it. We went there one night. We'd done some research. Nothing really happened. Phenomenal photo, but I can't prove any of it. That's the problem. So I could talk about it, and I go, well, it was a phenomenal, and it was a great photo, but that's all I can say about it because I can't prove any of it. I could, but I can't break any kind of trust with those people.
No,
So
no, of course. Do you
that's
know what we completely get? We completely understand that. Yeah, we get it. We get it.
To kind of back that theory up, I mean, I won't say too much about it, but we did a similar. We always do experiments. In the Lamb Bar, I don't know if Tony was on this one with me, but there was two groups. When they turned up, we told one group the history to the building, and we told the other group nothing. People, we told the history because the building had collapsed at Second World War, it had been bombed, and people had been killed. They had loads of stuff going on in the basement around the building, and we even recorded sounds like a woman's voice, say, like just grumbling. And the other group, like say, the other group got nothing. We believe that obviously that fear as well. I think I've said it before to you, Greg. People that are scared, they do manifest this type of energy, and it is nearly always women, not just young girls. It's through each age group, really.
the twins, they get all manner of activity. The girls do. Even in the same locations as me and Ash have been to the same location. We were the same night, and they had a completely different experience to us because they're super jump. I go out with Sarah a lot. They're
Yeah.
super jumpy, and it yeah they seem to attract it. So
Freud identified the his words, not mine, the hysterical undercurrent that runs through all women, and we have seen that on investigations where the fellas would be stood there going, "What?" The women have gone, "Oh my God, I've just seen." You know, it's always stems from that. Once that hysterical energy starts to go around the room, it becomes unstoppable. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've seen it, and still, most of the fellas you just stood there going, what's going on? What?
I think
but yeah, they definitely have a different experience sometimes
Yeah.
to us. So that's an interesting thing as well. Why is it that they have that slightly different experience to us? We've been in the same room after them where they had experiences, and me
yeah.
and Ash haven't. And we've been quite aggressive to the spirits as well. It's sort of like calling them out, standing there all like bravado, calling them out, and nothing. Oh
It's
yeah,
maybe,
that's not strictly true, but yeah, compared to what they had, nothing.
what's your best
Worth
bit
a
of
go.
evidence that you've got?
Good question. Good call.
I'm gonna say, and
Go on.
this is one from last year. So only because we got the photos of the sort of aftermath. So my basement, where I am now, so 2 floors down is my basement. And moved there about 4 years ago. The building's about 200 years old. Used to be a big, massive manor house. It's now like apartments. And we've had stuff happen in the apartment itself, but in the basement is really creepy. And me and Greg did a Facebook Live down there, and just nothing had been happening really. And then as we were kind of wrapping up the Facebook Live, something was thrown at us, and you hear it, so it's captured on video. We react to it, so we kind of got that. And then I went down with the girls. They came like a couple months later, and we got activity. We all two of us heard like a proper deep breath, like a right next to us. And Sarah didn't hear it, but she caught it on her camera. So that again, that was caught on video. And I don't even know. He has a like a YouTube and stuff, and he came down a couple of months after that. This was last summer to investigate as part of his like road trip around the UK. And we were in the same part of the basement. The basement's massive. But all the things that happen seem to be concentrated in this one area, like things thrown at us, hearing breaths and stuff. And we were in this little corridor in the basement, to the right of me. I had his night vision camcorder and stuff, and I felt something push me from behind. It's like it moved me out of the way. This whatever this was. So I obviously reacted to it. I crapped myself because someone just put the hand on me and moved me. Obviously, spins around with the camera because I just obviously screamed pretty much in the corridor, and obviously there's nothing there. But then on my back, on the back of my hoodie, is a handprint. And you can see clear as day. Got pictures of it. Is this handprint on my back where I felt a hand pushing me? So that was probably kind of one because it's quite personal. So it was on me. It was in my basement where I live, and we got the photo of the handprint on the
That was
back.
actually an imprint in the material. Where you
It
Yeah.
gets weirder. It gets weirder
Yeah.
because it's not just a normal handprint.
So
How many fingers did it have?
we came back up and it was like, oh, because they had to get the lights and stuff on it, and then they were like, oh, there's a handprint here, so I took a picture of it, and they were feeling it, and it was like they said it's like a real like light grease, not wet but very very light oily greasy type feel, and we were trying to recreate it, like them putting their hands on my other side of my back, and they couldn't recreate it. And then we got upstairs, took the hoodie off, the handprint are now gone, but on the pictures, it's it's a three-fingered hand with like bulbous tips on the fingers.
really?
And if you literally Google like grey alien hand, it's exactly that on the picture of these three. So it's like, so
Wow.
I'm like, is there an alien ghost in my basement that's just pushed me? And it's like, I cannot explain that like at all. And I'm glad that people were there and we have the pictures of it, of the handprint, because yeah, I don't know what the hell that was.
I think I'd have a camera set up constantly in the basement.
I've had trip cams down there, left them down there. But I actually got some weird. I sent it to you. We were like trying to slow it down. You and Sarah, we were trying to. It's a weird bit of footage of something messing with the camera.
Yeah.
Don't know what it was. But apart from that, yeah. I need, if I could get like a proper camera, that'd be good. But it's just get it all set up with no Wi-Fi or anything down there. But that was a really weird moment, I guess.
Yeah.
You said it felt there was something that felt like a greasy residue or something.
Yeah, like it's like that. It wasn't me that touched it. The other guy sort of touched, like sort of put the hands over the handprint, and he said it was like a lightly oiled, like grease, not wet, but like a film or grease or
Like
something.
just slick almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But then I said they tried to recreate it by putting their hand on my other side of my back, and it wasn't like sort of staying
Yeah.
like that handprint did. And by the time I got back upstairs, it had gone off my hoodie, and then I was trying to. I got a video of me like putting my hand on it, trying to recreate it, and it just can't recreate it with our hands, I guess.
Was there any kind of a sorry, was there any kind of aroma with it or but I'm invested in this. I like this. I like this.
It's no, there's nothing. It was just literally. I felt getting it when it moved, when it touched me. It was like the way I liken it to when you're in like a bar. It's like a busy bar, and someone kind of squeezes past you and sort of puts their hand on you to move you. It wasn't like a forceful push. It's like a gentle move out the way sort of push. And that's what it felt like. Obviously, it's unexpected. I've backed into a wall or door thing, but there's a good 2 foot behind me to nothing behind me. And yeah, I literally, because it was sort of so close to home, being in my own basement and stuff, I literally didn't even talk about it for like 3 months. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, it was really that sort of such a weird kind of incident. You want to come back?
Yeah.
That is random.
I'll send you the photo. It's
Then recently, we've not long put it up on TikTok. Me and Sarah were in Delamere Forest on a live TikTok live, and there's a face and a hand around, or what appears to be a face and a hand around the side of a tree watching us, and lots of people were commenting saying that they could see faces and stuff like that, and then people were screenshotting it and sending it to us on social media, and so that's quite weird. You can check it on the TikTok. It's it does look strange, and it could be pareidolia, could be. Just seems odd that everybody was seeing it live as well. So one thing that we don't really talk about well, we do mention it, is the synchronicity between me and Ash. So up until when we done the podcast, we hadn't met, we'd hardly spoken, and it turns out we actually got a lot more in common than we first thought. So a few years ago, I'll keep this brief. A few years ago, there was a big thing about trying to get disclosure from your local MP. Write to your local MP, ask them what the UK is doing about UFOs. In a nutshell. Turns out and I didn't know this, you can only write to your local MP. So I can't write to, I could write to David Cameron at that point because he was the MP for Whitney, but even when he was Prime Minister. But the person I spoke to and wrote to was a guy called Robert Courts, and it turned out that when he was in government, he was the Minister for Maritime, Aviation, Military, some other weird stuff.
Yeah.
So I wrote to him. I got a letter from the Ministry of Defence saying essentially no significant issue with UFOs and blah, blah, blah. Nice letter, all government letter. And so he was the government MP. So he was the MP for, sitting MP for that particular umbrella of departments. Turns out that when Ash wrote to his MP, he was the shadow minister for the same department.
Right.
Now, me and Ash live three hours drive away. Ash is in Manchester. I'm down in Oxfordshire.
Right.
What are the chances of our MPs, the only people we can write to, being the opposite end of the, like, they sit opposite each other in government?
Yeah, yeah.
Weird. So we get all sorts of stuff. We've had loads of weird experiences recording the podcast that don't come across on the podcast, but my computer shut down. One of Skype call it was at that point. Computer shut down, brand new Mac, big Mac screen thing that I got during COVID. Computer shut down, Skype cut off, it all rebooted. I came back on, managed to get back on the Skype call a few minutes later and was like, sorry about that. And Ash and our guest, John Edmonds, RIP, was like, you were still there. I hadn't actually gone anywhere. I never
Really?
went. Yeah. That was the weirdest interview ever that we've ever done. But yeah.
I do appreciate you coming to chat with us, both of you. And I know, Greg's, you've got a lot on with
Everything,
family stuff
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
We do appreciate it.
Thanks for taking this time out.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome.
We're just trying to
And Ash, by the way.
and Ash.
Yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. And I tell you, interesting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear your presentations in November. I really can't.
Same.
It's going to be great. It's going to be so good.
Nice. Well, cheers, Mark and Tony.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
It's been a pleasure, guys. You take
Speak
care.
soon.
Bye-bye.